She rejected my proposal, then posted a photo of the ring on Instagram. I know my worth, and this ain't it. The post went viral. I commented, neither are you. The ring is fake. Then I posted the receipt for the $6 cubic zirconia. The internet turned on her so fast, she had to delete her entire account. Let me just start by saying, I'm not a complicated guy. I like my job, I like fishing on the weekends, and I believe that a person's character is the most valuable thing they own. For the last 2 years, I was dating a woman named Jessica, who I thought believed in the same things. I now know that the only thing Jessica believes in is the exchange rate of love for luxury goods. And I, apparently, was failing to meet the market price. We had a good life, or so I thought. We lived together in a nice apartment. My name was on the lease, I paid the bills, and we were talking about the future. The problem was, our definitions of the future were wildly different. My future involved a partnership, building something together, maybe a house with a yard someday. Her future involved a specific filter on Instagram, a closet full of designer bags, and a man who acted as a combination of a photographer and an ATM. Her obsession with status was like a low-grade fever that had been getting worse over the past 6 months. It was all about appearances. She would talk endlessly about her friends who were getting engaged, but she never talked about their relationships. She only talked about the rings. Did you see the rock Mike got for Ashley? It must be at least 3 carats, she'd say, scrolling through her phone. It was never. They seemed so happy together. It was always about the carat count. I knew the question was coming. She was dropping hints with the subtlety of an anvil. She would leave jewelry websites open on my laptop. She would tag me in posts from luxury jewelers. I loved her, and I genuinely wanted to marry her, but this obsession with the ring was a massive red flag. It felt like she was more excited about the accessory than the commitment. So I decided to conduct a little test. A character test. I wanted to know, once and for all, if she was in love with me, or if she was in love with the idea of what I could provide for her. The plan was simple. I bought 2 rings. The first ring was the real one. I spent weeks researching it. I went to a reputable, family-owned jeweler and picked out a beautiful, classic 2-carat diamond ring. It was elegant, timeless, and cost a significant amount of money. It was the ring I wanted to give to the woman I would spend my life with. I kept it hidden in the back of my safe. The second ring was the test. I went on Amazon and bought a $6 cubic zirconia ring. It was flashy, it was gaudy, and it looked impressive from a distance. But up close, it had all the quality and charm of a prize from a gumball machine. This was the ring I was going to propose with. My thinking was simple. If she loved me, the ring wouldn't matter. She would be happy and excited about the commitment, and we would have a funny story to tell later when I showed her the real one. If she was with me for the status, well, I would have my answer. The night of the proposal came last Saturday. I took her to a beautiful botanical garden at sunset, a place where we had one of our first dates. I got down on one knee. I gave her a heartfelt speech about our life together and our future. Her eyes were shining. Her phone was out, subtly recording the moment for her future social media post. Then I opened the box. I watched her face as she saw the $6 ring. The happy, expectant smile froze. It didn't just fade, it curdled. A look of pure, unadulterated disgust washed over her features. She looked from the ring to me and then back to the ring, as if I had just presented her with a dead rat. "What?" she said, her voice flat and cold. "Is that?" "It's an engagement ring," I said, still on one knee, playing my part. "Jessica, will you marry me?" She let out a short, sharp, ugly laugh. "With that? Are you joking?" she said, loud enough for a nearby couple to turn and stare. "No, absolutely not." She stood up and looked down at me with a look of such profound contempt. It was like she had never even known me. "I can't believe you would embarrass me like this," she hissed. I slowly stood up, my heart not broken, but strangely calm. The test results were in, and they were conclusive. "Embarrass you?" I asked quietly. "Yes, embarrass me," she said. "My friends get diamonds. My friends get Tiffany. You bring me this piece of junk? What am I supposed to do with this? Post this online? Everyone would laugh at me." I just looked at her. "So, the answer is no because of the ring?" "The answer is no because I know my worth," she said, puffing out her chest. "And this ain't it." She turned on her heel and stormed off, leaving me alone in the garden. I looked down at the cheap, sparkly ring in the box. $6. It was the best $6 I had ever spent. It had just saved me from a lifetime of misery and a very expensive divorce. I closed the box, put it in my pocket, and walked away. The relationship was over. But the story, I knew, was just beginning. Update 1. I went home that night and packed a bag. I knew the apartment would become a war zone, and I had no interest in being there for the initial conflict. I crashed on my buddy's couch. As expected, my phone started blowing up with texts from Jessica, a mix of angry tirades and demands that I come home and fix this. I ignored them all. There was nothing to fix. The next morning, the real show began. Just as she had predicted, Jessica took her story online. But she did something I hadn't anticipated. During her dramatic storm off from the garden, she must have circled back and snatched the ring box from my jacket when I wasn't looking, or maybe I dropped it in the shock of it all. Either way, she had the ring. She posted a picture on her Instagram. It was a beautifully staged, high-quality photo of her hand, nails perfectly manicured, holding the $6 cubic zirconia ring between her thumb and forefinger. The ring itself was angled just so, catching the light to give it maximum cheap sparkle. But it was the caption that was the true work of art. She wrote, "Some things are just not meant to be." Last night I was asked a question, but I had to listen to my heart and respect myself. I know my worth, and this ain't it. To all my strong women out there, never settle for less than you deserve. Know your worth. And you self-love, you deserve better, thank you next, bye. It was a masterpiece of victimhood and empowerment theater, and the internet ate it up. The post exploded. Within hours it had thousands of likes. It was being shared by lifestyle bloggers and wannabe influencers. The comment section was a tidal wave of support for her and vitriol for me. I was anonymous, of course, but I was being called every name in the book. Cheap, pathetic, loser, broke boy. Women were praising her for her strength, for knowing her value. Men were commenting, "You dodged a bullet, queen." She was a hero, a martyr for the cause of expensive jewelry everywhere. She was eating it up. She was replying to comments, thanking people for their support and adding more details to her fictional story. She claimed I had been pressuring her for months and that this insulting ring was the final straw. She was building an entire narrative around herself as the brave woman who had stood up to a cheap, unworthy man. I watched it all unfold from my friend's apartment, a strange sense of calm detachment washing over me. Every comment, every share, every word of praise she received was just more rope. She was building her own gallows, and she was so proud of the craftsmanship. My friends were calling me, furious on my behalf. "Are you seeing this? You have to say something," they urged. "Patience," I told them. "Let her have her moment. Let her get as much attention as possible. The higher she climbs, the harder she's going to fall." For 2 full days, I let her ride the wave. I let her become an internet sensation, the patron saint of materialistic women everywhere. Her post was even written up on a few minor celebrity gossip blogs. She was on top of the world. On the 3rd day, when the post had reached its peak of viral fame, I decided it was time to make my move. I didn't create a big, dramatic post of my own. I chose a more surgical approach. I went to her viral Instagram post, scrolled through the thousands of comments, and I added one of my own. My comment was simple, 6 words. I wrote it from my own, real account for everyone to see. It said, "Neither are you. The ring is fake." Then I turned off my phone. The first domino had been pushed. Update 2. Turning my phone back on a few hours later was like opening the door in the middle of a hurricane. The chaos was immediate and beautiful. My single comment had acted as a grenade thrown into the middle of Jessica's pity party. My Instagram was flooded with notifications, friend requests, DMs, and hundreds of replies to my comment. The internet, which had been so united in its support of Jessica, was now in a state of civil war. Half the people thought I was just a bitter, lying ex trying to save face. Sour grapes, dude. She rejected you. Get over it. Prove it's fake or you're just pathetic. But the other half were intrigued. My comment had planted a seed of doubt. People started looking at the picture of the ring more closely. "You know, the setting does look kinda cheap. The facets on that stone don't look right for a diamond." Wait, he commented from his real account? He wouldn't do that if he was lying, would he? Jessica's response was frantic. She replied to my comment, "He's a liar. He's just embarrassed that I rejected him. Don't listen to him." She then started furiously deleting any comments that questioned her story. But it was too late. The narrative was no longer under her control. She had lost the room. This was the moment I had been waiting for. The audience was primed. The stage was set. It was time for the main event. I went onto my own Instagram page. I had never been a big poster. My profile was mostly just a few pictures of fishing trips and my dog, but my next post was going to be the most important one of my life. I created a new post, a multi-image carousel. The first slide was a simple, high-resolution, unedited screenshot of my Amazon order history. It clearly showed the item: Brilliance Fine Jewelry, 2-carat round cubic zirconia sterling silver engagement ring. It showed the date of purchase, and it showed the price, which I had circled in bright red, $6.49. The second slide was a short video. It was a video of me sitting at my kitchen table. I started by introducing myself. "Hi everyone," I said, my voice calm and friendly. "My name is Kevin. You may have seen a post recently from my now ex-girlfriend Jessica. I just wanted to clear a few things up." Then I reached off-screen and placed the real engagement ring on the table. The 2-carat diamond I had actually bought. The camera zoomed in. The ring was stunning. It sparkled under the light with a fire that the cheap cubic zirconia could never hope to imitate. "I believe a proposal should be a test of character, not a financial transaction," I said to the camera. I wanted to be with a woman who would say yes to me, not to a price tag. So I conducted an experiment. The ring Jessica posted was a $6 prop, a test. "This," I said, pointing to the diamond ring, "was the real ring. This was for the woman I thought she was, the woman who would love me for who I am." She failed the test in the most spectacular way possible. She didn't just reject me. She tried to use her rejection to build a brand based on materialism and greed. The third and final slide was a picture of the receipt for the real diamond ring from the jeweler. I had blacked out the price. I felt that was a private matter. But the jeweler's name, the date, and the description of the ring were all clearly visible. I wrote a simple caption for the post. It said, "The truth is always more valuable than a diamond. I wish Jessica the best in finding someone who meets her standards. As for this ring, it's being returned. My search for a woman with real worth continues." I hit post, and then I sat back and watched the internet do its thing. The reaction was instantaneous and seismic. My post went viral on a scale I could never have imagined. It was being shared everywhere, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Reddit. It was picked up by the same gossip blogs that had celebrated her. But this time, the headlines were very different. "Influencer humiliated after fiancé reveals cheap engagement ring was a character test," read one. "Woman who knew her worth fails spectacularly when faced with a fake ring," read another. The internet turned on her with a ferocity that was terrifying and, I have to admit, deeply satisfying. The comments on her original post became a tidal wave of ridicule. People were posting my receipt in her comment section. They were posting screenshots of my real ring next to her fake one. The hashtag #CubicChloe started trending. She was no longer a hero. She was a joke, a meme, a cautionary tale about greed and materialism. Her entire brand, the one she had tried to build on the back of my supposed failure, was being dismantled in real time by an army of anonymous strangers on the internet. It was a digital execution, and I was the one who had signed the death warrant. Final update: it has been 4 months since the Great Ringgate, as my friends have dubbed it. My life has returned to a state of blessed, wonderful quiet. Jessica's life, on the other hand, has not. The 24 hours after I posted my side of the story were a complete nightmare for her. The online mockery was relentless. She couldn't post anything without being flooded with comments about the $6 ring. Her follower count, which had swelled during her brief moment of viral fame, began to plummet. She was losing thousands of followers an hour. She tried to fight back. She posted a tearful video on her Instagram story, claiming I was a manipulative sociopath who had set her up. But it was too late. The evidence was too strong. The receipts were undeniable. Her video was met with a fresh wave of ridicule and memes. By the end of the week, she couldn't take it anymore. She deleted her entire Instagram account. Her entire online identity, the thing she had valued more than anything, was gone. Poof. Wiped from the internet. The real-world consequences were just as severe. She had to move out of our apartment, of course. I had my lawyer send her a formal notice to vacate. Her parents had to come and help her move. I heard from a mutual friend that they were deeply ashamed, not just of the public humiliation, but of the character their daughter had revealed to the world. Her friend group also imploded. Many of them were aspiring influencers themselves, and they couldn't afford to be associated with her toxic brand. They quietly unfriended her, both online and in real life. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her own shallow values. As for me, I did exactly what I said I would do. I returned the real diamond ring. The jeweler was very understanding. Getting that money back in my account felt like closing a chapter. The strange thing is, my own life has changed in unexpected ways. My post, my story, seemed to resonate with a lot of people. I received thousands of messages from men and women, sharing their own stories of materialistic partners and thanking me for standing up for the idea that love should be about more than just money. I even went on a few dates with women who had reached out to me after seeing my post, women who explicitly said they were attracted to my values. I'm not in a relationship yet, I'm taking my time. But for the first time in a long time, I'm optimistic. I conducted a test because I was afraid of getting hurt, of wasting my life with someone who didn't truly love me. The test worked. It hurt, yes, but it saved me from a lifetime of misery. Jessica said she knew her worth, but she was wrong. She only knew her price. And when it came down to it, her price was $6.49. My revenge wasn't just about exposing a liar. It was about proving a point. That character is worth more than carrots. That integrity is more valuable than Instagram likes. And that a man who is confident in his own worth doesn't need to prove it with a price tag. He just needs to be willing to tell the truth, even if it means burning someone else's fake world to the ground.